Welcome aboard for the first time listeners. Welcome back to my followers. I'm Kenny Baker, host of Sports Sipping Sports. Today I'm joined by Rashad Baker from Baltimore. Give it up for Rashad Baker.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back.
We're going to analyze week 7. We're going to give our picks for week 8. We're going to talk about what teams we feel showed their identity so far this season and what we think about possibly making the playoffs. So, with no further ado, we're going to get right at it. We're going to start off with Broncos against the Saints. Broncos 33, Saints 10. Broncos 4 and 3, Saints 2 and 5. Wasn't a great statistic game in my opinion there. So I'll just let you take it from there, Rashad.
Yeah, it was pretty much self-explanatory. I don't think anybody really seen that as like a entertaining game. I guess the only entertaining thing was Sean Payton getting his leg back on New Orleans. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But other than that, yeah, I ain't really got much to say.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's kind of one of those personal things. It really didn't have nothing to do with the game, but it just felt good. I probably could imagine to be in a visiting locker room and walk away victorious. Jacksonville Jaguars 32, Patriots 16, Jags 2 and 5, Patriots 1 and 6. Drake May 26 of 37, 276, two tubs. I thought Bigsby had an awesome game, running back 26 carries, 118, two tubs. Your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's definitely making a great case to be RB1 in that locker room. We didn't see Jacksonville having the season that they're currently having, but they have time to do at least something positive. Not saying that they'll make the playoffs, but and yeah, I mean Drake May, the first game in as a rook, not too shabby. A lot of check downs to the tight ends. Think that's just trying to help him get comfortable in the league. So, we'll see how things look moving forward.
Actually, that was his second game. I get your point, absolutely. Seahawks 34-14 on the Falcons, 4 and 3 for both teams. Kirk Cousins 24-35, 232, one touchdown, two interceptions, and a fumble. Can't turn the ball over three times and get too many victories, and especially against a team like the Seahawks.
But yeah, they're an interesting bunch. I'll be honest with you, because it seems like at any week, their offense can light you up, but they show that they're very, I guess you could say, they show their humanity a lot of times, and I think that comes with them throwing the ball so much. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gino leads the league in passing attempts. So he'll fling it 50 to 60 times, and it's ridiculous when you got a guy like KW3 in the backfield. But, we'll see. We'll see how they do. I know he got a little more carries this week than in the recent past games, so maybe they realize it as well.
Well, Gino threw 28 times this week. He's got 279 pass attempts, leading the league thus far. Buffalo 34, Titans 10, Buffalo 5 and 2, Titans 1 and 5. Josh Allen 21 of 33, 323 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions. They scored 27 points in the second half. The Titans started the game off and they just came back and just took it over.
Yeah, and I think it was what 10-0.
Right.
Yeah,
What I
it
meant to
was.
say
It
was
was.
Titans had them and then they just ran off with it after that.
Yeah, and sometimes that happens. That's why it's 4 quarters.
Absolutely.
It's-
Absolutely. I'm noticing not just that this game that passed, the way Josh Allen has not turned the ball over this year. I think that needs to be stated. I think throughout his career, he has been known to turn the ball over. He has no interception thus far.
very valid point. I think we all football guys know that 17 is known to help out the other team. So for him not to do that without a wide receiver one, I mean, up until today. No, not today. I'm sorry. Up until this past Sunday, they went and got Coop. Before that, you know what I mean? Like, to not have a wide receiver one and not turn the ball over is actually very impressive, in my opinion. So he's making a valid
Right,
case,
yeah,
man.
he is. Bengals 21, Browns 14. Bengals 3 and 4, Browns 1 and 6. I think the Bengals, yes, they won, but I think the Bengals have, to me, have some things they're going to need to work out. Immediately, you have a 100-yard kickoff return to start the game. So you're up 7. So you take that away, just offensive to offense, you only matched them 14-14. We're talking about a bad Browns team right now. Want to respond to that one?
I think it goes back to what you stated in the past about Joe Burrow, just as a quarterback, as a leader for that team. He's not looking too good, if I'm being honest. He's not. The line's not helping him, you know. And like you said, they have a lot of things they need to work out. It's very small areas of light on that team right now. Unfortunately, I don't really have them going too far this year in my book.
I think they miss Joe Mixon. When someone says it, will they say it? I don't think so. But I believe they miss Joe Mixon.
I agree. And he's doing his thing over in Houston too. Shout out to
And when
that
he
brother.
was out, how they struggled, right? At
Yeah,
Houston,
Joe
yeah.
Mix, complete back.
Now here where it gets good. Packers 24, Texans 22. Packers 5-2, Texans 5-2. That was a game where it appeared Packers were going to just win, no problem. Texans came back. Then the Packers had to win on the field goal late. Stroud, I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. There's no question in my mind. Okay? There's no doubt. But he was 10 for 21 for 86 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Mixon was Joe Mixon. 25 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. I thought the Texans defense going into the season, I thought they would be the glue, like kind of if the offense has to punt, they'd turn somebody over or they'd make a play, to limit them to a field goal. I'm surprised. I didn't surprise. I picked the Packers to win that game, but I'm just surprised what I'm seeing from the Texans.
Really? You picked the Packers?
Yeah. Well, you obviously didn't follow the last episode. Yes, I did.
It's not even that. I'm just surprised that like you went with them.
No, not
Because
really,
that must
because go ahead.
go ahead. No, no, no. I want to
I
hear
want
why.
you to elaborate, and I'll give you my answer.
I just feel like what Houston did the week before, I was surprised that you would have them coming in and losing to Green Bay like that.
Well, here's the deal. They're on the road, so they're going into Lambeau, number one. Number two, I think Jordan Love is starting to get back his timing. He did lose a game or two, right? So now he's starting to get back his timing. The Packers historically been the type of team that not necessarily do they have to have the big name receivers or the big name this, the big name that, but collectively the Packers they have held Lambeau down. I mean, have they not? I'm saying for the most part, their history is they hold Lambeau down, and I felt that Houston has shown me some vulnerability on the defense, and obviously Stroud is not playing. Not again, he is a good quarterback. I think he's going to be a star for a while to come, but he's not automatic because I can't think of too many automatic quarterbacks that's going to throw 86 yards in a game. I don't care what kind of running game you are. They're going to at least throw for a buck 50. No.
Fair enough. I've
Okay.
I've just personally I just personally watched the Packers get to the red zone and struggle. And I just felt like you're not gonna beat CJ Stroud with just field goals.
You're 100% right, but I'm not sure if we see the Texans defense the same. I'm not saying the Texans defense is trash. No, I thought they would be better than they were last year. And I'm seeing some struggling there defensively. The week before, Anderson had 3 sacks on May from the Patriots. Hell, it was his first start, and it's the Patriots. I'm not dissing Will Anderson. I'm only saying you got off on a team that's not ready. But you're not getting off, I'm seeing on a regular basis on the better teams, and that's what's concerning me. This is the defensive rookie of the year last year.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Colts 16, Dolphins 10, Colts 4-3, Dolphins 2-4. And yes, I did pick the Colts in that game. Statistically, there's really nothing to talk about. There's nobody that did anything statistically that I'm going to say, hey, he had, yeah, whatever. But Miami's in a bad situation right now. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think that Tua Tagovailoa should come back, but I think he will. I think, and I've said it before in previous podcasts, I think he should think about his personal life, his family. You don't want to take too many blows to the head like that because you still have a lot of life left. This is a young man, so you don't want to be abba booba booba at 40 years old. But to each his own.
yeah, he's gonna come back. In my
How many more?
opinion, in my
Oh, he's
opinion, he's
coming
gonna.
back, but how many more hits to the head? And I'm not saying they purposely headhunting him, but it's just football. Let's face it, it's football. You get a lineman to kick you in the head because he was falling backwards or something. So we're not
Yeah,
talking like it's purposely done, but it happens.
yeah. I think everybody will be watching those games a little more hesitant once he's back on the field.
Yeah.
But that's his choice at the end of the
Well,
day.
needless to say, I think the Dolphins, and this is why another reason why I don't think he should come back. I think the Dolphins are done this year, but we'll get into that when we talk about playoff teams because at this point, what I'm seeing from the Dolphins and what's left for the Dolphins schedule wise, there's nothing for me to believe that they're going. And now I did pick them initially to win their division, right? Initially, I will not make no bones about that. But things change, injuries happen. So obviously, that's a pick that I got wrong, but I got it wrong. I feel due to injuries, not necessarily just because they didn't play well.
Yeah, I probably would, I probably said the same thing. Honestly, having Miami win the East, so that's not far fetched.
Now we have the Detroit Lions 31, the Vikings 29. Both teams 5-1. Yes, I did take the Lions as well in that game. I am I'm loving the Lions, watching them play right now. They're getting it done every which way but loose.
Yeah, they're super dynamic. I love watching them. I'm just I just like I enjoy watching Gibbs and Montgomery do what they do. And Gibbs had a nasty tutty
Yes, he
in
did.
that game, man. Like, reminded me of my childhood days. The way he
Don't
just
break your arm patting
the,
yourself on the back.
the way he just to
Mhm.
the crib. But yeah, nah, it was beautifully crafted. So, and then Amon Brown doing what he do over a buck and a tutty. So it was a good week. It was a good week for sure.
I'm not trying to spoil nobody's party, but I feel that if the Lions don't get to the NFC Championship game, or if they don't get to the Super Bowl and they are in the NFC Championship game, I hate to say this, but from what I see, I think it's going to come down to because of Carlton Davis. And I say that meaning I watch some of the what I don't believe is smart football, and the penalties that he takes is unnecessary. You don't have to grab just to grab. Grab to save a touchdown, I get it. Live to see another day. But you're just grabbing and giving up, automatic first downs. That's my personal observation. I hope it don't happen. I don't know that man personally, and I don't wish nothing negative on him. I'm just watching his play, and I feel then I hope that the coaches say that to him. Galton, you're a good corner. You don't need to do all
Yeah, Arnold does too. They're just aggressive. They're very aggressive. But that dude Branch is legit.
that. Oh
Branch
no,
and
I'm
that
not
and
talking
that's
about him.
yeah, I'm just we ain't gotta talk about him. I'm just giving him his flowers. No, he balling. I see what you're saying. Because in the NFL, the holding penalties is 10, but the PIs is what kills you. That's where the spot foul. That's the spot fouls. We'll see. We'll see, man. I think it's still a little early to tell that story, but it's not a bad observation.
I'm with you 1,000% that it's still early. I just see that as something sometimes as a habit. Sometimes not all habits are good. So we go to the Eagles 28, the Giants 3, Eagles 4-2, Giants 2-5. It's the Giants. They had total of 16 punts in that game. Ugly game, but silver lining. Malik Neighbors returned 4 for 41, 4 catches, 41 yards on 8 targets.
I watched that
Oh, you took a
game.
deep breath. I mean, Saquon did have 176 yards. Don't get me wrong, but 7 punts now.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry, 16
it's,
total.
it's Yes, it's the Giants, but I'm not bailing out Daniel Jones. It's just, man, like that line is actually terrible. Like that line can be very terrible at times. The Eagles were just, it was like practice. Like it was like dummy practice. Oh, I'm gonna just work on my, I'm gonna work on my, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna work on this. I'm serious, like, cause he ain't even have time to do anything. You didn't even have time to get
Mm.
Uno the ball because Neighbors is legit. You just got to get it in
Oh yeah.
in his area of catch, his range, and this he good. He playing the slide, he playing the outside, but that game script was more so just wrapped around Saquon coming back home. You know what I mean, and just having one of those games, man. Um, and that was really the highlight. It was good to see AJ Brown back in action.
Hmm.
Like when him and Devontae Smith are back, Jalen Hurts is back. Plain and simple. When they're not playing,
Right.
don't expect much from him. That's at least what I got from it. You know, and I think that also propelled the defense to overall play better. And yes, it was the Giants. It was the Giants. That plays a big part, but it was more so a homecoming game for Saquon. So shout outs to that man for real.
Yeah, I understand they would burden his jerseys in front of the stadium when he was driving into something, but I don't get all that. But that's another issue.
Yeah, New York for you.
Rams 20, Raiders 15. Rams 2-4, Raiders 2-5. I'm gonna just it obviously statistically wasn't nothing to talk about, but watching Garner Minshew is painful. It's really painful. I mean, it it's almost like if the Raiders make a good play, like say he throws the ball and they get a 30-yard completion, or let's just say he scrambles for 15 yards and get a first down. That's almost a bad thing for them because it gets Garner thinking that he's really that dude, and then he immediately does something retarded. It's painful to watch.
I was like, nah, you gotta say something. That's the Raiders. That's your pound. You can't just not say anything. But yeah,
Yeah, no, you
it's
you know that's my squad. I'm not going to deny it. I'm a Raider fan, and I've been a Raider fan for 50 years. I am not going to abandon. I'm a loyal fan. I'm not going to abandon my team. So
yeah, I feel you. It's a sad story right now in Vegas. I almost said Oakland, but I don't know. We'll get into that later though. We'll get into that later.
we have the Commanders 40, Panthers 7, Commanders 5-2, Panthers 1-6. Unfortunately, Jaden Daniels got injured in that game. But what I want to say and touch on, and now this may seem like I'm being petty. So if I'm being petty, then damn it, I'm being petty. This is the Andy Dalton that I know. 11 for 16, 93 yards, no touchdowns, two interceptions. That's why I was so livid when he went and beat the Raiders in Vegas and through all of this. I'm Andy Dalton, but we're talking about a different game. I'm just letting it be known. Yeah, I'm being petty. God damn it.
I was about to say, man, that kind of sounds a little something going on Vegas side. If that's the case, if
I'm
they
sour.
allow
I'm sour.
if they
Let me
allow
be sour.
homeboy, I'm telling you, bro, he looked like he need the Hemi Award that they be giving out on on Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears, and them. They be giving out the Hemi Award every week. He need that joint the way he went against y'all. But yeah, Jaden Daniels took a lot of hits in college. He took a lot of hits in college. Like when I say hits, I mean like bangers. Like dudes is blowing him up. Like he was only a buck 80, maybe a buck 90. It was only a matter of time. His play style, it was only a matter of time. Do I want him injured? Absolutely not. He's on my fantasy team. Absolutely not. He's bringing some revival to the Washington Commanders, and me being in the DMV, people out here wearing their jerseys now. I'm like, where have y'all been? You know what I
Where
mean?
were
If
they
it ain't
come
a
from?
yeah, like if it's not a Baltimore jersey, it's like y'all don't talk football. So he's definitely, been a beacon of light. But I do think he's like day to day or week to week. So it seems like
Week to week, yeah.
he avoided a major injury. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, without him, I feel like it's gonna be hard for them. Truth be
hmm
told, with all due respect to Mariota, but yeah, that's really what I gotta say about that.
Well, I see a different culture in Washington right now. I'm hoping that they can sustain a couple of games without him, but you may be right. I'm not 100% sure.
Hopefully, it's just one. Hopefully, if he missed one game, okay. But they put him on IR, that's a different
No, he's
story.
not on IR. He's week to week right now, so I don't see how he's going to go on IR. If they were going to put him, I would think it makes more sense to put him on now. Why would
Hmm.
you wait and then put him on? You pretty much killing him for the rest of the season
True.
after that. So we have the Chiefs 28 to 49ers 18. Chiefs 6-0. 49ers 3-4. I am not. I have to say it this way because what I'm about to say, people may perceive it to be. I'm not a Brock Purdy hater, but I've been seeing this since he stepped on the field. Brock Purdy has been playing with an all pro team, and all they say to him is, get it to them. And they're making all these plays. So now, when they're not there, and you play a good team, you throw three interceptions. Now, he did rush for two touchdowns, but to me, those. I'm not taking away a touchdown. I'm not going to just say, oh, you score a touchdown, it don't mean anything. But when you get in touchdowns the way he got them, like, play action and just run around the end and score from the 1 yard line, okay, you did your job, and I get it. You're not scoring touchdowns because it was 4th and 13 from the 20. You're not doing that. You're not running that. No. So I give you that. But he was 17 for 31 for 212 and three, no touchdowns throwing and three interceptions. And here's the kicker for me. Patrick Mahomes is not even playing on Patrick Mahomes' level. Yes, he did make one scramble that was phenomenal, but his numbers were 16 for 27, 154, no touchdowns, and two interceptions. So you got a Patrick Mahomes not even playing up to that potential. They don't get 100-yard rushing on the ground. Hunt only had 22 carries for 78 yards. Yes, he scored two touchdowns, but again, no, not taken away from scoring at the 1 and the 2 because some teams can't even do that. But those are the touchdowns he got. So all I'm saying is when you don't have your dudes, you're all pros. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I've been seeing with Purdy. He gets credit for so much. They seem to make him into this superstar quarterback. I'm like, well, if you played on an all pro team, I don't know how you can't be successful. Now they may say, what about Trey Lance? That's why Trey Lance ain't playing for nobody right. Well, I mean playing for nobody right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said. It's just unfortunate how banged up the 49ers really are, though.
Not
Like
to
they
me.
are, they are banged up, like for real. Um, so yeah, I think this is interesting to see how Brock Purdy plays without all of them moving forward. Um, and I mean the Chiefs. I mean we can save it for later, but yeah, the Chiefs has made a major move.
Right, we're gonna get
Um,
into that,
yeah.
but I just want to stay there for 1 minute as far as that game,
Hmm.
and this is what I mean about it. Like you said, the San Francisco 49ers are banged up, correct?
Hmm.
No one else gets the same pity that they get. Oh, well, they're banged up. Well, there's been other teams that are banged up, but they didn't want to hear it when San Francisco wins. Another thing that I don't, and I'll never co-sign, when you take a team and anoint them and they haven't even won, I feel like call me petty, then damn it, I'm petty. That's what you get. These are professionals out here. How are you going to just anoint a team? Just well, we're going to just it's Kyle Shanahan, so we're just going to say yeah, they're great. They're going to be a Super Bowl team. Let them earn it. If they haven't earned it, then that's what it is. And as far as Christian McCaffrey, love the guy as far as his play, but I saw this coming because if you look at his career, this was the year for him to be injured. He has those 3 year windows. It's like good, good, excellent, injured, good, good, excellent, injured, and that's what this was.
Yeah, it's two ways you could look at that. You could look at it that way, which I agree. And you could look at it the other way, which is, man, the Chiefs just find a way to win. You know what I mean? Like, you read the stats. Clearly, it was an ugly game, but the Chiefs won the game. And that's scary. That's scary how they continue to find ways to win without playing on championship, at a championship pedigree, at a championship level. So, yeah, both perspectives I agree with. Both perspectives I see it. Um, and that's why I'm interested to see what Brock Purdy does next. Well, this week. You know what I'm saying, that we're in. I'm not even. Who they
Dallas,
played this?
Dallas.
Dallas. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's a coin toss because Dallas needs something. They just need something. So it could be that type of week, or it could be a week where, you know, Brock Purdy finds some type of magic. But we'll see.
Absolutely. I think I stated exactly what you said about the Chiefs week two. Well, the second podcast because it was after the first game against the Ravens. You could see that they're going to be scary as a team this year. You could see it. How quickly they scored on the Ravens. Certain things they did. Now that was when Rice and the running back was still there on the team,
Pacheco.
right? But when you see something, you know what you see. Rashad, I have all the respect for you. I believe you have respect for me as far as when you see something, you know what you see. Maybe you may not verbalize it the right way. I'm not saying you won't. I'm saying that maybe someone cannot verbalize certain things, but you know what you see. Just like on the field, you could tell certain things when you see it. And what I saw was the Chiefs are going to be a good team this year. They were going to be good, like in a hard team to beat. Now, did I see all this coming? Absolutely not. But what I saw in this game said a lot to me, a lot, because they went into the 49ers house and did what they did. Now, have to be fair. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't fair. The 49ers experienced something similar to this last year. They lost 3 games, and it was not because of injuries, but they lost 3 games consecutive, right? So let's rekindle that. So in week 6, they lost to the Browns in Cleveland, 17-19. Week 7, they lost to the Vikings, 17-22. Then in week 8, they lost to the Bengals, 31-17 in San Francisco. So that losing streak thing happened to them last year as well. But then they got it together, and obviously they didn't lose another game until, in my opinion, they played a real team, and that was the Ravens. And what did the Ravens do? Hang a 33 piece on them in San Francisco to 19. And Brock Purdy threw, he could have threw more interceptions actually, but I believe Hamilton dropped one. If it wasn't Hamilton, it was Humphreys. One of them dropped, I mean, it hit him in the chest. So this is not necessarily new, but the difference is the injury.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That's a good point.
So now we have the Steelers 37, Jets 15, Steelers 5-2, Jets 2-5. Russell on the return, 16 of 29, 264, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 3 rushes, 3 yards, and a touchdown. Again, I don't ever discount a touchdown, but we do know when we read stats like that, that's typically goal line, play action fake, or, a sneak.
Yeah.
So we're not going to make it seem like he just ran all over the field, but he accounted for 3 touchdowns, needless to say. Najee Harris, again, had a great game. 21 carries, 102 yards in the tub. Jefferson accounted for the the catch, one of the touchdowns in the air. 2 catches, 15 yards, a touchdown on 3 targets. Pickens accounted for the other touchdown that Wilson threw on 5 catches, 111 yards on 9 targets. Take it away, my man.
I think everybody knows the conversation in that locker room is who is the quarterback one. I think like Russell coming out playing the way he did supports what Tomlin said about Fields has been good, but not great. He kind of left a very intentional fine line between that, assuming he believes Russell Wilson can lead them to greatness or can be great for them. And I think that this was a great introduction to that in multiple ways. That also the way that Russ is 30 plus years old. Does he still got it? You know what I mean? People had their doubts about him, so that was also a kind of like a wake up call to say, yeah, I'm still here. You know what I mean? I'm still able. I'm still capable. Um, it was a good win for them. It was a good overall win for them as a team, for Russell Wilson as an individual. And I'm just interested to see what they do. I'm interested to see what they do with Fields. The trade deadline's coming up. Not saying he's going to get, but I'm just saying, like, are they going to just bench him? Because I also know this is a trial run. Like, give Russell a couple games, a couple weeks now versus later to see. You know what I mean? And then kind of make the official decision then. So I'm just paying attention to see what actually happens. But it was a good game overall.
You feel some way somehow that I'm just trying to touch on this that feels possibly could be traded.
I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't. I'm not saying he will. I think there's other big names on the table, as far as that are more so looking to get traded. Not just like in that locker room, but I'm just saying in general across the league. But yeah, I wouldn't count that off the table.
Okay. Let's talk about the Jets. They have Aaron Rodgers, 24 completions on 39 attempts, 276, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He had his buddy Devontae Adams, who had 3 catches, 30 yards on 9 targets, no touchdowns. The Jets didn't score any points in the second half. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Aaron Rodgers is going to the Hall of Fame, no question. Devontae Adams could possibly go to the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that he is just yet, no. But Devontae Adams got his wish. So your wish was to go from one 2-4 team to another 2-4 team just to play with your friend. I'm looking at this as a complete failure. Complete failure. I said it last podcast. You get rid of your head coach. It's not a recipe for going to the Super Bowl. We don't see that happen. You get rid of your coach and then you go to the Super Bowl? No. Maybe the next year, but not like that.
Well, to my understanding, Devontae about to get up out of there.
Where the Jets?
Yeah. Um,
Please tell.
I'm just going based off of what I've read. I've read that there's been like the talk has been he's looking to get out of there by the deadline. Um,
So you're
so
saying that he got traded to the Jets and now he's trying to get out of New York by November 5th?
yeah, that's what I've heard. It's just
Really?
public. It's been public information.
I'll say this, Rashad. I missed it, and I'm not ashamed to say if that's the case, I missed it. But to me, that doesn't sound like it makes any sense. He's from the West Coast, so you left the West Coast to come east to just play for 2 weeks. That would okay if that's what they're saying. I get it. I don't get it as being common sense.
Like I said, this is why we say trade rumors. It's
Hmm.
public information. You know what I mean? Is it gonna happen? I don't know. I'm with you as far as like that don't make sense. But I'm just telling you what I've seen. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But nonetheless, I think Aaron Rodgers just needs to come to reality that he's not who he was. The quicker he can allow his mind and his body to come back together and be in alignment, I think then they'll play a little bit better. But for right now, I think his mind still believes that he's somebody else. and his body and his play is telling him that's not the case, bro. Like what you're saying on the podium, it's cool. Like we hear you. You know what I mean? It sounds good. But the play is not backing it up. It's not backing it up whatsoever. Um, Maybe that's something hard for him to admit as an athlete, as a great athlete at one point, like you said, Hall of Famer. Um, and yeah, um, anytime the one thing I've seen and noticed about the Jets too is anytime they don't have Brees Hall involved is trouble. Um, he needs to be the offense needs to move through him. But now since acquiring the DA, I think that it will begin to open more doors up for Garrett Wilson. You know, I don't think that just because Devontae's in town, that diminishes his target share. To be honest, it just allows him not to get doubled as much. And then you also still have Lazard, another familiar face from Green Bay. So the Jets have some things they need to figure out. Of course, like you touched on, new head coach is not a good recipe. So we just gotta wait and see. At this point, I think Buffalo's taking that division, but you know, just gotta see what they cook up in these next few weeks.
Well, here's where my pushback comes. Aaron Rodgers never taken away from his talent, but Aaron Rodgers' mind is not playing games on him. The game was played on us being the fans. When I say what I'm saying, please let me elaborate. Aaron Rodgers is who he is. He's a talented, extremely talented quarterback. But him not taking no blame for nothing, that's who he's always been. Him having to have everything his way is who he's always been. I just, now, me, I'm going to admit it. I'm raising my hand. I'm just admitting that I'm now seeing the true Aaron Rodgers, that who he really was all this time. Explains why he only has one Super Bowl. Explains why he left Green Bay to come to New York. I'm going to further elaborate. Brett Favre did the same thing. We now learn the true Brett Favre. He took money from the poor people in Mississippi. So what I'm saying is who you are as a person, we sometimes get enamored with. I'm sorry, as a player, we get enamored with, and we don't consider you as a person. And as a person, you have things that are not so desirable. And I believe Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy that says a lot of things that are not true in front of the podium. He has to have everything his way, and it's never his fault. With all that being said, if that was somebody that you know personally that was not a football player or nobody special, would that be your best friend?
Well, I kind of disagree because I've heard him take accountability for his lack of play, and the reason I said his mind and his body are not in alignment is because what he was doing in Green Bay, he's a step behind in New York, or he's missing it completely. If you watch it, he's missing windows, he's missing reads. The things he was doing and successful at in Green Bay, he's no longer in New York, but he's still doing it. So that means that there's a lapse. Something's not clicking to let you know to make an adjustment. That's where I'm coming from when it comes to AR. But as far as him never taking accountability and always blaming and pointing fingers, I don't know. Maybe there's certain things that I don't, but I kind of disagree with that, especially of late. Like I've heard him take accountability for his poor play.
Well, when I say that is I'm also talking about body language, right? As you play on the field, you can make mistakes or something cannot go your way. And your body language could say, "Hey, my bad," or "I got you next time," or "I see it." I saw it. Like so you don't need to compound that with the extra you know, I just feel that when I see that, it, it hits me in a different way because I'm gonna say this, Shad. When you make a mistake, most of the time you know you made a mistake. Do you need me to compound that mistake to make sure that I make everybody know that you made a mistake? Is that what you think I need to do?
No.
Okay. That's what I see when I see it. Like he'll throw a ball, he'll throw his head. Come on, Aaron, you're 41 years old and you've been in this league, whatever. I understand you held a clipboard for a couple of years, but you've been in this league for 20 years. Like, come on, stop it. Stop it. Just understand mistakes going to happen because if they didn't, we had teams that were perfect regular season, i.e., Patriots, and they lost in the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure there were some mistakes in that game on their part, meaning linemen or whatever. So don't tell me that you're perfect, please.
So that's what you're saying. Like you think that he walks around like he's perfect.
His body language to me is not positive. I'll say it that way. So if you want to you want to play the word game. No, I don't mean this in a negative way. But if you want to play the word game, wordplay, then I'll just change it up. I'm just gonna say his body language is not positive during the game. You get in front of the podium, you can tell me anything, and they do that, and I get it. Oh yeah, I had nothing to do. I have no idea the head coach was gonna get fired. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. They didn't bring you over to New York and then surprise you with surprise. You got a new head coach.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, you get in front of the podium, you say whatever. So you can lie. You prove that. That's fine. But don't. My thing is, you do what you do, but don't make or feel that I need to believe it. That's what I'm saying. You did it. Okay, you did it. That don't mean I have to believe it.
I see where you're coming from.
Ravens 41, Bucks 31. Ravens 5-2, Bucks 4-3. Lamar Jackson. I think I'm just gonna put a period at the end of that sentence. I enjoy watching Lamar Jackson, and I enjoy watching his growth. And I could just say there's so many haters out here for Lamar, and I just feel that if we give those same stats to, and I'm just going to use because he played against Baker Mayfield. If they gave those same stats to Baker Mayfield, I'm talking about career stats. We could not wake up or go to bed without hearing Baker Mayfield's name. But because it's Lamar Jackson, I don't know what it is, but they just seem to don't want to give him his props. I mean, this is a two-time MVP winner, and he's 281, 17 for 22, 281, 5 touchdowns, 9 carries, 52 yards, no touchdowns. He did get a fumble, but the fumble that we're referring to is the pass he threw behind the line of scrimmage to Flowers. Was it an errant pass? I didn't think so. But some might say, well, it hit him on the right shoulder. So that means it was going away from him, if you will. I think that as an NFL receiver, I don't think anything that hits your body is that bad of a pass that you couldn't catch it.
Lamar's the black sheep of the NFL. Like I don't like. I honestly don't care to talk about it anymore. I'm gonna just watch him ball. Keep balling, bro. Keep balling until you fall. Like until you win that Super Bowl, keep balling, bro. Because they always gonna say something about you. You bring such a different dynamic to the NFL that has not been seen before in years. Like Lamar is the ultimate playmaker. So what comes with that? Bad plays, good plays, spectacular plays, plays that make you say a whole bunch of prerogative language. Like
I like the way you word that.
you know what I'm saying? Like the only thing I can say about that game is I hate injuries.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
hate I hate because I know how competitive Mike Evans is. He's a dog. Only cer-
Godwin. God damn.
I was gonna get to that, but Mike Evans is a dog.
Yes.
One of the biggest slept on receivers in the NFL. I don't know why. 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard, 1,000 yard seasons. Big target. You know what I'm saying? He went out there just because that's who he is, and I would have did the same thing, man. So it's tough that as soon as he fell, I knew what happened. Just the way he hit the ground, I knew what happened. It's done. Godwin, the heart of that team. You know what I mean? That injury kind of makes me think about what are we doing across the NFL as far as artificial turf, grass. What are we doing here? Because there's some of these injuries, it would make more sense for you to redesign the stadium, and you might have to go back to grass. That will
Hmm.
absorb a lot more of the
Hmm.
tension, of the friction, of the force that comes with this game. He dislocated his ankle. This is not like an ACL, you know what I'm saying? Like his ankle. It's certain injuries that kind of point the finger of yes, it's the game of football, but it's also where you're playing at, you know. But it's tough nonetheless. Good game, but yeah, that those are the things that stood out to me. We already know what Derrick Henry is doing. He looks like a cheat code. Like we kind of expected that. That's why when they started off 0-2, I said, okay, this is for the media, whatever, whatever. But I knew what was up. That's a quick turnaround. Right? That's a quick brush up, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're just moving everybody out their way. Kyle Hamilton, all world safety. Humphrey, I hope his injury is not that big of a deal as well either, because he is a major piece for them, especially on the inside nickel. Baltimore just looks amazing. I have them. I mean, confidently, I'm gonna still say I have them going all the way. It does come down to injuries, but after the news of today, what Kansas City acquired, it's up for discussion. But my favorite is Baltimore.
Yeah. Well said. Cardinals 17, Chargers 15, Cards 3-4, Chargers 3-3. I had picked the Chargers in that game, but I have to say that I think the Chargers are overrated. And I kind of felt that early in the season, Monday night. I thought they would win that game because the Cardinals haven't shown me much. But when you don't even score a touchdown, it's just field goals, and you got a quarterback that you believe is the next coming of Jesus, basically, and I have to keep it real. You lost a playoff game in Jacksonville 2 years ago, up 28, and I just feel that this is the same quarterback. Then you extended him after that, and then last year they were cellar dwellers. So it comes to me, it just comes down to we're going to just keep propping them up and keep giving them credit and keep doing all these things, but they're not getting it done. And they're not even getting it done the right way. Like, I mean, at least if you lost the game and it was like 38-37, you don't even score a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't really have nothing else to add. I feel the same way.
We're done with analyzing the Week 7 game, but I just wanted to touch on a big up to the Liberty winning their first WNBA championship over the past weekend. Congratulations to them. We have the NBA kicking off last night on Tuesday. We had two teams playing, the Knicks versus the Celtics. Defending champion Celtics prevailed 132 to 109. High score for the Knicks was Brunson and McBride with 22. Tatum starting off the season very well with 37. We also had Minnesota versus the Lakers with Anthony Davis pouring in with 36 points. Anthony Edwards 27 as the Lakers prevailed 110 to 103. Also, being from NYC, we have the World Series kicking off Friday with the New York Yankees versus the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA. Game 2 will be on Saturday, and then they're in the boogie down on Monday. The Yankees come home on Monday night to host the Dodgers. Also, in the NFL, there was a trade, as Rashad alluded to earlier. DeAndre Hopkins is now a Kansas City Chief. I think the Chiefs are playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, huh?
We might see a three-peat. Like I said, might because it's gonna be them at Baltimore, in my opinion. If everything pans out, it's them at Baltimore. As
Mm-hmm.
far as who goes to the Super Bowl, and whichever one goes is gonna be the one to win. But yeah, like that was a big shocker. Like I'm just like, oh my god, like you give Patrick Mahomes D Hop. Like, all right, y'all think D Hop washed if you want to. You'll soon find out. It's about to get scary.
I agree.
You like, cause it's and what makes it so scary for me is because I understand that 9 times out of 10, Kelsey's drawing attention from safeties and linebackers. So
Mm-hmm.
now you're talking about a wide receiver one. You have Worthy, who can already take the roof off the house.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to respect that speed. But now you're just telling me you're going to play corners only on DeAndre Hopkins? Have you no shame? Like, do you understand that he embarrasses people, and I think people easily forgot. You know what I'm saying? They think
mm-hmm.
Houston was a long time ago. No, he's like a Russell Westbrook, in like a football version of a Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? He's with
Mm-hmm.
all of that physicality, and he has all the athleticism to go on top of your head. He is a sure catch. He is a five tool wide receiver. That's what we call those guys. We call those guys the
Mm-hmm.
five tool guys. You know what I'm saying? He's a complete route tree guy. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the best quarterback in NFL. Okay, arguably, because I know people will say what they say, but arguably the best quarterback in NFL throwing to him, not Will Levis. Hmm. Okay, we don't need to talk about nobody else. That was probably the biggest trade of the year. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody is upset about that one, but him, Coop, you know what I'm saying? What I said earlier about the Raiders, a sad story. I mean, I heard Max Crosby trade rumors, but I feel like he'll stay. I don't know if you have a different opinion. But yeah, DA leaving, you know what I'm saying? I'm interested to see how they continue to kind of depart Cleveland, especially because they're just in trouble with their cap space and everything like that. So
You please
yeah,
elaborate. What do you mean about Cleveland?
because Watson being cooked and just where they are financially, it'll make sense for them to move guys around. I've heard about Newsom. I don't want to say junior, but the second. Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the second. Newsom the second. Getting him out of there, freeing up some more space. Of course, they just got rid of Coop. So just seeing the moves they continue to make in Cleveland. Because
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, like these teams that they know their season is done, they start to now begin to make business decisions.
I definitely see your point there. With that being said, we'll just go ahead and dive into this week's picks, who we like. But I guess I'm kind of tempted. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I was tempted to wait, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's talk about teams that we project to make the playoffs as of today. Now, this is not halfway through. We can revisit this, no problem. But right now, starting in the AFC, your top 7 teams that you believe will be in the postseason.
My top seven out of like it doesn't matter the like the order, right?
Oh, no, 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 no! I don't mean it like you have to say who's one, who's two. No, no, no! I'm saying just postseason. I'll give you my top 7 first. I have the Chiefs. I'm going to go in division order first, and then I'm going to give
Okay.
you my other 3 teams.
Yeah.
I have the Chiefs, I have the Texans, I have the Ravens, I have the Bills, I have the Steelers. Now, here's where it gets tricky. That's 5, correct? Okay. Here's where it gets tricky. Because of the schedules, I'm going to say the Broncos. I'm going to say the Colts, and I guess sneak in the Chargers.
Did you say Pittsburgh? Okay. So then, yeah, we got the same seven.
Why I say what I'm saying? Okay, so the Dolphins currently they're 2-4. I don't see them making that kind of push. They're done. I spoke about the Jets. I don't believe the Jets, based on their schedule, their play, everything, is not making that push. The Raiders. Let me move on. The Jaguars have the ability. I just don't see it happening. The Titans have already threw up the flag. They made a trade today and they got rid of Hop and all that other good stuff. So yeah, of course. Patriots, another team. They're not doing anything this year. They know it, so they threw up the red flag and the white flag rather. And the Browns, they already know. So that takes care of the AFC.
Yeah, I think we don't really need to talk about that. I think the NFC is the one that's more like it'll be more of a conversation. AFC
Okay.
to me is like self-explanatory. Like I was just making sure you said Pittsburgh, like
I
because
said that
that
first and foremost.
as far as the wild cards, that it must
Yeah.
have went over and I didn't hear it clearly. But yeah, we have the same seven. I was just making sure.
Okay, now we have the NFC. I have the Lions winning their division.
Hmm.
I have now this is like you said, this is more trickier, but I am going to give the Commanders the edge just because of the schedule thing. So I'm going to give the Commanders that division. So that's two. I'm going to stick with my Falcons, not because of location or anything like that or my team. It's just, yeah, I still believe that, and I've said it from the beginning that they will win the division. So I got the Falcons. That's three. Believe it or not, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Not because I thought they're better initially. It's just that they have a game on the 49ers already. They have a game up on them in the division. I don't, and we're going to get into our picks, but I don't know how many games the 49ers are going to win going out, like the rest of the season. So I'm going to say, safe to say, they may lose for 3 to 4 more games. So if you take that and say 7, 8 losses, that's dicey to say that they're going to win a division. So now we go to the wild card. I take the Vikings. I take the Packers, and I am going. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? I didn't include the other division, right? The Eagles. No, no. Okay, I'm going to say the Eagles would be the other one. I already said that I took the Commanders. So yeah, the Eagles would be the
Hmm.
other team. So believe it or not, the 49ers may not make it back to the playoffs, in my opinion.
Did you say Green Bay?
Oh yeah.
So you took the three out of the North.
So let's just say this: wild cards. Because I already gave you the division winners, right? So wild cards would be the Vikings,
Hmm.
the Packers, and the
Hmm.
Eagles.
Okay. Then all right. Well, I guess we got the same 14.
And it's not a hating thing. I just feel that the Bears, with the rookie quarterback, will lose a game they should have won, and that's going to be the difference. I feel that the Bucks, injury wise, are going to be suffering because of that reason. I feel the Cowboys are the Cowboys. That say for example, they'll win a game and everybody's like, oh yeah, here we go, and then turn around and lose to a high school team. I just think the 49ers are just stuck in a numbers game. It's just going to be a numbers game where they cannot win their division and they cannot win the get the wild card because of teams having a win over them. So if you look at the wild card, I'm just fast forwarding it. So you're 10-7 and they're 9-8. That's what I see. Or they're 10-7 and you're 11-6. That's what I see with the 49ers. They're just going to get nosed out. That's the reason that I don't see them getting in. The Rams, Cardinals, Giants, Saints, and Panthers. I don't believe none of them is a threat, and I think they know it. And at this point, they're probably going to make trades at the deadline.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The only thing I was saying, I guess we can move on, is I think it comes down to between Washington and Philly, whoever wins that head up game is the one who takes a division. Because their schedule both is not that strong to finish out. But of course, like you mentioned, the head up. So it's like I feel like whoever wins that will take the division. So
Good point. I can't disagree with that at all.
like that's like that'll be so I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, Washington's my definite, coming out the East. But I'll say it now that whoever wins that game in the upcoming weeks will be the one to take the division. But either way, I'm taking both to move on to the playoffs. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That's why I'm like I don't disagree with you. I just will say that, and then yeah, we good. Other than that,
So we agree with everything there, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, surprisingly. Well, I mean, it's not that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, surprisingly, there's no disagreement with nothing. So let's just jump off week 8. We're going to start Thursday night. We have the Vikings visiting the Rams. Rashad, All American, cornerback, Brockport,
I got
Dog.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Minnesota.
Same dog bit me. Now we have Tennessee visiting Detroit. No, as for the record, you do know I always speak of the visiting team versus the home team. So we have Tennessee versus Detroit.
Detroit,
Same pick. Baltimore versus Cleveland.
Baltimore,
Same pick. Green Bay, Jacksonville.
Packers.
Same pick. We gotta stop this.
It's
Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans.
Houston needs to. So yeah, Houston.
All right. So I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna keep talking, and what we disagree with, we'll elaborate. Because right now we're neck and neck.
Yeah,
Arizona Dolphins.
Arizona,
Damn. Atlanta Tampa Bay.
Atlanta,
Chicago Washington.
Chicago.
Okay, we got a disagreement. I'm going with the Commanders there.
Wait, hold on. Mm, it's in Washington. Truly, it depends if Jaden plays. I'll be honest with you. If he don't play, I take Chicago, and I know I got to make the decision now. So I'm personally gonna say Chicago, and even all jokes is like I'm not even all jokes, but like pushing aside Jaden playing or not, I like Chicago's defense more than I like Washington's defense. So I'm a ride with Chicago.
I hear what you're saying. You know what I'm gonna excuse me. You know what I'm riding with, to be honest with you? Caleb Williams has been playing good. He's been improving every week. I just feel sometimes when you're playing, even if Jaden don't play, when you're playing against the team that the next pick is playing, so in other words, 1 versus 2, kind of, I feel that you may try to do too much, and I believe that is what's going to, you know, cost you the game.
Fair enough. I just feel like Washington is playing a little too too above their means. I feel like it's just a matter of they're gonna kind of simmer down a little bit. I think they're a good organization and a good team, but I think they've been playing so lights out with minimal mistakes. I think that they're just due. Not trying to hate on them. I just I can see that happening this week.
Well, the other thing is that the Commanders are 8-2 in the last 10 games against the Chicago Bears, straight up. So that's another reason why I'm taking them, and they are home. So those are my reasons for taking the Commanders. New York Jets versus the New England Patriots.
I'm just trying to see if it's in New England.
It's a new.
Yeah,
I tell
so
you,
new. I'm going to take. I'm gonna take New England. I'm gonna take New England at home.
you need to stay out of my head.
Yeah, I like that actually. I like that.
I was
New
taking
England at
the
home.
Patriots for so many. Let me tell you, early in the year, the Patriots played the Jets in obviously in New York because this is in the division game, so it's going to be opposite, right? I took the Patriots. They got smoked. Don't get me wrong, but it was, in my opinion, one of the games that they may win because I didn't think they would win many games was that they would beat the Jets because they've owned the Jets, like owned them, right?
Now you in
Regardless,
my
they've
head.
owned them. And so, considering what's going on with the Jets, I'm gonna change head coaches. I'm gonna demote the OC. I gotta bring in my buddy. All these things going on, and the Patriots are home saying, "Do whatever you got to do. We know you." And that's why I'm going with the Patriots. That was my reasons, actually.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. Just the Patriots owning them, like disgustingly. Like
Yeah, they do.
even when the Jets have a better team on paper,
Oh yeah.
they somehow just own them. Like so, I think between time of possession that New England's pretty good at, their defense is solid. They're at home. Drake May has nothing to lose. I could see it.
And he's also has nothing to lose. I agree, but he also has something to prove that yeah, I am the third overall pick, and I'm saying that meaning this is his third game. He showed improvement from 1 to 2, and it's not like he's killing the league. It's about pride, right? So if I got thrown into the fire, I got beat up, but I learned something, and then the next week I come out, I do not as bad, and I learned something. So I'm just looking at his growth and saying, this is a game that I could see him
Excuse me.
making the play. Bless you. Seeing making the
Hey,
play and doing things to just break the backs of the Jets, and also I am still, and I'm going to stand by it. Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame, all that, great. Never taking that away from him. But Aaron Rodgers' attitude and body language, I think, is what's going to kind of bring the team down because there's other guys out there busting their butt, and I think they can probably say like, "Damn, dude, like you came here. We all was like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, and like all you do is like, oh, point fingers and sulk, and then they're gonna feel like, man, f you." That's just my take.
yeah, but we riding with New England.
So now we get to this is a good game. Buffalo, Seattle.
So the home team is second.
Yeah, but
Okay,
I told you I ain't trying to trick you.
that's a long trip. I'm gonna take Seattle. Man, we ain't even near each other, man. Don't do that.
No,
I can't possibly be in your head. So we just gonna have to either get it all right this week, or we go ride the other side of that ship too.
well, my thing is the last time you was on the podcast, you killed it, right? With your picks. So that's why
Mm.
I'm like, damn, we got everything to say.
Well,
Like,
except the Chicago game, yeah. Hmm.
so far,
Right? I think that's the only
so
one.
far, you're right. So far, New Orleans Chargers,
Give me LA,
hmm. Eagles Bengals,
Philly.
Kansas City Raiders.
KC be older the Raiders. Give me KC times three,
Well, I mean, I'm gonna
especially
say
with D Hop
I'm gonna
if he
say
play.
this. I'm taking Kansas City, but not because of that. I'm taking Kansas City because Garner Minshew,
Nah, they
Garner
might.
Minshew right now. I'm not exaggerating. Garner Minshew right now is so painful to watch. It makes me feel like, and I'm not disrespecting no pro, but I feel like I can go out there and do that. Just look like I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like I could, if you don't, I don't know what I'm doing. I can do that. I can get lucky one time. That's how I see Garner right now. Carolina, Denver.
Denver.
Yeah, that's easy. Dallas 49ers. Now here we get it. Here we gonna get it.
I'm going Dallas.
Oh my God.
What
You're
you talking
killing
about?
me.
What you talking about? I'm going Dallas, man. 49ers, like I said, they banged up times
I,
10.
I thought for sure you was taking the 49ers at home.
Nah, bro, what you gonna do? Give Jordan Mason the ball 30 times and win the game? No.
Okay.
Like,
So 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 we have New York Giants in Pittsburgh.
Pitt.
So we only have one team that we disagree on.
That's either gonna make or break us.
But
Let's
it's all
let's
good. Listen,
let's
I'll
do it.
say this. I love the fact that you have that mind like I have that mind because that means that we're thinking this through. We're not just jumping out there like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah, nah,
So we're good with that.
for sure.
So last week the road team won 6 games and the home team won 8 games, which is a surprise because typically this season it's been more wins for the typically been more wins for the road team than the home team.
Wow, that's a good stat to know.
Yeah, it's been amazingly in the favor of the road team. That's why I'm like, wow,
Wow.
that was interesting. But you know what else is interesting? Getting Peyton Rose products. Yes, getting natural hair and skin product from Peyton Rose. You can go online at PAYTONROSECO.com, which stands for Collection the CO, and get you some natural hair and skin product. If you're in the Atlanta area, stop by the Painted Tree, 2059 Scenic Highway, Snellville, Georgia, and you can stop in and pick up your product of Peyton Rose, all natural hair and skin product. She has beard lines, facial lines, skin. You'll love it. So that wraps us up for this segment. I had the pleasure of having Rashad Baker again on the show. And I would like to say that I'm going to come back and do another segment for the weekend. So I'll give some harness racing picks on that because that's one of my pet peeves. I love giving out winners. Last week we the picks that I gave. If you tuned in, you would have been up well over $300 on that
Wow.
pick. So it's up to you if you tune in and you follow me on that. But needless to say, I enjoyed your company, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you continue to follow. I'd like to thank my guest Rashad Baker. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Okay, so to the next time, one love, un amor.